Hey, what's up, YouTube, and welcome to NHL 21 franchise mode. Yes, we are getting started in our franchise, and we are going to be the New York Rangers. Obviously, I'm surprised. My favorite team, and we're going to try to guide them to this so-called dynasty that they're on their way of with all the young talent they have. Now, I'm surprised I didn't do them last year, but with everybody they added, but now this year, still have that talent. They added Alexis Lafreniere, and obviously a lot of sad departures of Mark Stahl, Henrik Lundqvist, and my favorite player, Jesper Foss. So definitely new look Rangers as always. And yeah, there's some stuff I did that I have to inform you guys on. So we are 3 games into the preseason now. That is because I was looking at our coaching staff, and I think I found a good head coach. This guy McDonough was our head coach, but I downgraded him to associate. Then we hired this guy, Kay Taves, because he's an associate coach. But we hired him, but we still have McDonough as our associate, because he did have a little bit better stats. That's one thing. Another thing is I kind of try to work on the lines. There's some stuff I want to tell you guys. I do have them pretty well. Like I said, this new coach actually really gives me the chemistry I'm looking for, because I'm really looking for to max out. Maybe not at, hopefully, maybe +5 chemistry, but +3 will do. I'm looking to max out guys like Panarin, Zibanejad, Kakko, Lafreniere, and on the defensive side, Fox and DeAngelo. I'm really to max those guys out with chemistry because I want them to produce. Obviously, we're paying Panarin a lot of money. He looks like he's worth it in real life. He's really killing it. But in NHL, we want to get him to that 90 point a year, 80 point a year, because sometimes, NHL 21 or NHL 20 scoring, it's unpredictable. Some guys can have 120 point seasons. Some guys will then have like 60. It's really weird. So that's another thing. Those are the guys we're really focusing on. Another thing is that the Rangers still haven't signed Ryan Strome and Brendan Lemieux. Now, with that, I was going to easily just give them contracts that I believe they would get in, obviously if we came to the RFAs. But for some reason, Ryan Strome still had his $3.1 million cap hit for one more year, and I just didn't want to do that. So I personally think that Ryan Strome's going to get a 1-year deal at like $4.5 to $5 million. So I went with 1 year at $5 million. Because I don't know if the Rangers are really sold on Ryan Strome. So that's that. So we gave Ryan Strome 1 year, $5 million. That is his contract. Now, with Brendan Lemieux, I saw a rumor that he agreed to a 2-year worth 1.5. And then I also saw that he's going to sign that on Saturday the 24th. And I really think the Rangers, obviously they've given 2-year deals to every one of their RFAs so far. I think they're going to do the same with Brendan Lemieux, and I think 1.5 is a good bridge deal for him because he did have 18 points. He was making $900K, and obviously I think 1 point. And it's a good contract. It really is. So I went with that. So Brendan Lemieux is making 2 years at 1.5. So trying to make them realistic, even though they haven't signed yet. So I just got impatient. I don't want to wait till they sign because they could Ryan Strome might go to arbitration. So I don't really want to wait. Speaking of waiting, I also added in some players that aren't in the game but who should be, and I will show you, not many, like I think 8 on the Rangers side. Players like, we come to centers, Morgan Barron. I made him a 72 overall because he did sign a contract, playmaker, who actually really fits the first line. I don't know if that's AHL or NHL, because he is in the AHL right now. That might be it. And then also on the Rangers side, Keandre Miller made him 74, medium top 4, 2-way D. Now, also with the Rangers, I also improved some of their European prospects' ratings and overalls. Now, Nils Lundqvist is a 60 overall. He actually, I think, was a 59 at medium top 6. I think Nils Lundqvist is one of the best defensive prospects out there, and definitely a top 1 in Europe. So I gave him medium top 4. He might even deserve medium elite, but medium top 4, and I boosted him 8 overall to 68. Now, for some reason, he's under contract. Some of our prospects are under contract who haven't signed yet. So Niels Lundqvist will be playing the AHL, and maybe then after this contract, we'll try to give him like a 2-year at like $9 million, so he kind of gets that, entry-level deal. Because now I'm going to try to groom him in the AHL so he can come up to NHL. Another prospect we kind of increased was Tarmo Röninen. We kept his overall, but we made a medium top 6 instead of 7D because he has been playing very well in Finland. And then also another prospect we kind of boosted was Lauri Pantuniemi. We made him from medium bottom 6 to top 9 forward at 62, where he was at like a 56, 58 maybe. So those are the players we kind of increased. Now the players we created, along with Keandre Miller and Morgan Barron, we have Trevor Zegras, who I created last year. Trying to think. No. Florida Panthers, we created Spencer Knight. For the Kings, we created Alex Turcotte. Made him medium elite. I think he deserves it. I was either that or high top 9, but I went with medium elite. For Minnesota Wild, Kirill Kaprizov, of course, and also Matt Boldy. From Nashville, or for Nashville, Yaroslav Askarov. I think he was a must-have. Obviously, he hasn't signed yet, but it looks like he'll be playing in the AHL. And I think other guys left, I think, was just Cole Caulfield with Montreal, and I think that might have been it. I might be missing one. No, I think that's it. So yeah, edit some prospects. So now, that's everything I think I have to tell you. Now, when it comes to the roster, let's look at the lines, because I did kind of edit the lines, and I'll show you what I got so far. So, this is the lineup we have. It's not complete. I would say maybe the top 2 lines are pretty good. Now, Mika Zibanejad really fits well with this coach on the first line, and that's what I really want. I want him to be our first line center. I want him to get a +3 or +5 overall. Kakko fits the first line ridiculously, which is perfect. He fits it perfect. Now, with a two-way forward with Zibanejad, two-way forwards really go the combination of two-way, playmaker, power forward. So that's what we have right now. But Chris Kreider isn't the best power forward fitting. He fits more on the second line. But the second line, Panarin fits perfect, Strome fits okay, and Lafreniere fits perfect. So it looks like we're going to be going, and that's really where Lafreniere fits. So it looks like we're going to be going Lafreniere and Panarin. But if we take Kreider and put him at center, it could get us a +5. If we took Lemieux and put him at... If we took Gauthier, it gives us a +5. But Gauthier, Kreider are not guys I want to put at center. Now, there's someone else in the system who is a power forward in this game who I would maybe test at center, and that is Vitaly Kravtsov. Vitaly Kravtsov has played center in the World Juniors. He's got 70 faceoffs, which isn't bad. I did put Kravtsov at the second line center, and it still only gets a +3. He doesn't really fit the second line that well. He does fit the top line very well, I think. But another thing with Kravtsov, I believe he's going to be playing in the AHL, the KHL for this upcoming season. I believe he's going to be on loan for the entire season, which only is going to go to like March, I think. So I'm thinking of maybe just keeping Kravtsov in the AHL. He's at a +3 line. I'm going to put him on the power play. I still haven't really touched the power play yet. But he's on a +3 line. Morgan Barron's also our top line center. They could also develop, and then Kravtsov maybe coming into next year will be like an 83 quite possibly. Now, with that, like I said, Now, with Chris Kreider, he's an exact top 6. He might go up to an 85. He only has 89 speed, where he's one of the best skaters in the NHL. I feel like he's really undervalued. But we're paying him $6.5 million, which in real life is a pretty good contract because he's big. He could score 20 goals every year, 50-point player. He's one of the best skaters in the league. But in NHL, we really have to try to get the best out of him. Now, another thing, so him on the top line, obviously, he'll probably get the 50-point, maybe even 30 goals. Because Zibanejad sims very well, and I saw him sim on a +1 chemistry, and he was almost point per game. And Kakko we need to develop, of course. Now, Pavel Buchnevich, he does not fit on the third line. He's a top 6 player. He could play center, and get a +3. He only has 65. He's not a center. Now, he could play the top line for Kreider's spot. So if we wanted to put Buchnevich there, because Buchnevich, he does want a contract extension now. Contract extension. But I've seen, if we play him down low, he might want out. Now, do we want to keep Buchnevich or not? That's the thing. Because this third line, Philip Hedl, is two-way forward. He fits perfectly. And we have power forwards to go with him. We just need a playmaker. Now, if we traded and got another playmaker, Julien Gauthier, he kind of fits, but Brandon Lemieux fits the third line pretty well. So if we got a playmaker who fit the third line, this will definitely get +3, maybe even +5. But like I said, Buchnevich is the odd man out. What are we going to play him on the fourth line? Then he's definitely going to want out. He could definitely be expendable at the trade deadline. But since Kreider's locked up, but Kreider doesn't really fit the third line power forward that well. But this does get a +1 line opposed to it not getting it. Hold on. Did it get a +1 with... Oh, it did. It still got a plus. I mean, he's still playing on a +1 line, but I definitely want to develop Hedl more, along with Lemieux. So if we get this a +3 line, that would be awesome. But Buchnevich gives us a +3, if we're not really sold on Strome. But we'll definitely be on the lookout. And the fourth line, if we put Lemieux down... Actually, if we move Gauthier up and then do that, then Lemieux, DiGiuseppe, and Howden get a +1. But we could, Howden doesn't really fit the fourth line too well. He doesn't really, but he's still pretty decent. And if we could get two guys to go along with him, that would be pretty well. I don't need a +4. I don't need a +5 on the fourth line. A +1 would be fine. Sorry about that. So now coming to the defense, it's pretty good. Adam Fox, well, there's a glitch going on that you can't really see because for some reason you can only see it when you go to the contracts. But if you kind of scroll him around, you could see where he goes to. But Adam Fox, he gets a minus and an X. He gets a double minus. But here he gets a plus. Now we have Libor Hayek here who gives him a +1. And Adam Fox, somebody I definitely want to develop. So if we could find, and I also tried, sorry about that. I also tried Brendan Smith and Keandre Miller. Well, actually, I tried Brendan Smith because they're both defensive defensemen, but he doesn't really work. Ryan Lindgren doesn't work. He doesn't get the +3. But D'Angelo and Lindgren are a +5 in the second line. That's perfect. Now Jacob Trouba and Jack Johnson, obviously we signed him. Jack Johnson actually fits pretty much everywhere, I feel. He could really play anywhere. But the two-ways get a +3, which is good. But also I saw that if we put in Keandre Miller for Jack Johnson, he still gets that +3 on the third line. So do we want to play Keandre Miller up with Trouba on the third line this year? Or do we want to maybe put him in the AHL and possibly have him develop a little more? Because the AHL defensive core, well, it's actually pretty... We could maybe put him on the second line because I do have Niels Lundqvist and Matthew Robertson. And Matthew Robertson actually, he actually develops pretty well. So we have both of them +3. Rykov and Ronanen are a +3, and then we just have two fill-ins. But we could probably put Keandre Miller here for maybe Darren Radish because Bieto fits this line. And this could possibly get a +3 because a defensive defenseman and a two-way kind of go together sometimes. So I think we're going to have to find another defensive defenseman who gives Adam Fox a +3. Now, I have done my due diligence. I have some guys watch listed, and the problem is they fit all of our pairings. Now, some might fit the second line more than the first. I'm looking for somebody who fits like just the first line. But if we could get somebody cheap who's on the trading block, that also could be well, because we could possibly try to get two guys, and if whoever works, we'll keep. So we'll take a look at our watch listed. What is it called? Watch listed players. Now, of course, I might want to try to acquire another playmaker, possibly, and possibly another. If I could find a power forward center, because power forward centers are almost impossible. So we have Nicholas Shawmerson, who is on the trading block. He's only making $5 million for one more year, so we could definitely take on that contract. John Merle, he's 81, he's cheap. Obviously, he just signed with Detroit, but if we give them probably some picks and a prospect, they probably would end up dealing him. Now, he fits Harvey McDonough, and Harvey McDonough is now our associate coach. So maybe if we simulate a little more into preseason, we'll know more, because all these are Harvey McDonough. Braden Coburn is also another good one. He's on a one-year deal. Danica Kaiser is good, but he's on a 2-year. We're 5.8. I'm not really liking that. Alexiak is big. He's definitely another one that could fit very well. And also Jay Bouwmeester. He's a free agent. We could sign him. Obviously, we don't know what his status is, but hey, we could bring a veteran in. Why not? So those are the players that we're interested in. Now, speaking of Jay Bouwmeester, I think I'm going to give him a contract. I want to see what and trust me, there's still a lot of RFAs, so like Olofsson, Bertuzzi. So a lot of these guys are actually on the trading block. Like I said, I'm too impatient to wait for all these guys to sign. We could offer sheet, Vince Dunn, and Vince Dunn actually might work. But I think now they'll probably I think that the Blues would sign him. Dustin Byfuglien, 87 overall. Dustin Byfuglien wants $2 million. I actually want to see who's interested in him. Who's interested? The Canes. Wow, that's funny. Chara can maybe be an option. I think he might go back to Boston, but that would be a pretty cool option. But he is a two-way, so it's kind of a little bit of risk. Mikheyev, I guess his contract and update, so hopefully he'll re-sign. Felipe Myers. So I think I'm actually going to give Jay Bouwmeester a contract. I kind of want to see if I could find him. He is a defensive defenseman, and he's pretty decent. Is he not a left defenseman? I don't know where Jay Bouwmeester is. I thought he was a free agent, it said. Unless he's I don't know. Okay, well, what? Forget Jay Bouwmeester. So that's the case where we're at. So obviously, I'm going to simulate a little more into the preseason. Not going to finish it because I kind of, before the start of the season, we want to. Oh, yeah, I gave Raquel an extension of 2 years worth, $800K, whatever. Nothing too important. Now, of course, we're going to have to sign a couple guys in free agency. Like I said, Pavel Buchnevich expiring. He wants 4.6 for 4 years. He's not really moving off that price. Now, it's just, are we going to keep him on the top line so he could produce and probably get to an 85, 86? But do we keep him on the top line, maybe put Kreider on the third line and have him produce, and if he plays but that's the thing. If he plays well and he goes up in overall, he'll have high trade value, but he also might be asking for now $7 million. It's going to be a tricky situation with Pavel Buchnevich. Of course, we're going to have to re-sign Igor Shesterkin. For some reason, he only wants a bridge deal of 1 year, but I think if we wait maybe mid-season, we could get him. I want him at this price for 5 years, so maybe we could get him at 5 years. It's just sometimes players ask for weird contracts early on. And who else is expiring? Ryan Strome, of course, who his value might get built up playing with Panarin again, and maybe we could flip him. Because I think Filipino actually gets he gets a +3 playing on the second line. So we could maybe and Filipino we think we want back. Now what does he want $4 million for? Yikes, that's not really a contract I'm liking. Lieber Hayek might be expendable. I don't know. He doesn't really have a spot. I kind of like Lindgren more, and Hayek definitely fits that second line too. Brett Howden definitely will try to get back. I think we'll wait on Howden. I will wait for now. Gauthier, I'm going to want to re-sign, but Gauthier, I want to play him more because he develops really well when you have him on the right line. So I might think this over. Wow, what is? Oh, I think I put Chris Kreider on the train. I don't know why, but wow, we would get rid of his contract just like that. But no, we're not going to do that. So now I just simulate a little more into. I don't know why we're labeled a seller. I simulate a little more into the what's it called? preseason. So now let me see if some of these players are... Because with Nicholas Shawmerson, he is on the trading block. And for Arizona, they are looking like they're going to maybe break it down a little bit. Now with Nicholas Shawmerson, he's still kind of... But he like I said, it's all about risk because we're not really know what he's about. But he is 85 overall. So if he gets a +3 with Fox, you know, even a +1, still him on the top line, he's a great defenseman. Now, we're kind of $200K under the cap if we acquired him. But he's only on a 1-year deal, so it's okay. That's the whole point. So who do we want to try? I think I'm going to try to make a trade for him. Now, Matthew Roberson, I might try to hang on for now. Niels Lundqvist, no. Do we want to send them a younger Libor Hayek? Because, see, now we can see where they fit. Now, Hayek fits on the first line, but just not as much as I would like. Same thing with Lindgren. Now, when we take a look at Adam Fox, he's kind of the odd man out. He's the problem. But we want to try to work it out. I want him to be good. Because Tony DeAngelo, I think, gels really well with this coach. On the first line and on the second line. So that's good. So, I think they want Libor Hayek. He's a younger player. We might have to throw a pick their way, and I think it just makes sense. I think it makes sense. We get a veteran. He's 33, which kind of sucks, because if we can maybe re-sign him for... Well, let me see if I can kind of send a scout after him. I gotta kind of I haven't been on franchise in a while, so let me see if I can send a scout after him. No, how do we send scouts again? It's not Fog of War, but I wonder if you could still assign scout. Here we go. So, I know we have... Oh, man, our scouts are really not that good. We have a good Russia scout. Where is Arizona? They are not... Are they in the Atlantic? Why do we have so many AHL? NHL Pacific, NHL Central. I think they're in the Pacific. Scout-specific players. Arizona Coyotes. Confirm assignment. I want you to scout Nicholas Shawmerson. Complete. Estimate date September 30th. Okay, I think that's when that will be done. So, see what they say about Nicholas Shawmerson before we end up making this deal. Because if we... So, alright, so let's sim to the end of preseason. Because then, by the time... You know, so let's sim one more day just to make sure. Okay, so now we should have a full view of what Nicholas Shawmerson would fit with our new coach. Because now I might make this trade and then I'll leave it up to you guys to possibly give me suggestions and whatnot. So Nicholas Shawmerson, he doesn't fit anything. So that was a really good idea for us to scout him. So do not get Nicholas Shawmerson. He doesn't fit anywhere on this new team. With the new coach, of course. So who is the next guy up? Obviously, we might have to go into our first game with this team, but we're still good. Adam Fox, but we still have to edit. I'm still gonna edit the. I'm gonna have to edit the power play. So now I'm going to send another scout. Who is the next guy up? Let me just take a look at our player search. The player I kind of want. So Shawmerson is out. So how do we remove him? Unpin him. John Merle is very cheap. All these guys are very cheap. Except, and we're not going to get Danny Kaiser. Forgot that contract? No. So, John Merle. And he's really cheap trading-wise. Like, you know, we might not have to give up too much for him. Alexiak is really big. He's 6'7". That's something we could probably really use. So I'm going to send a scout out for both of them. Gaborn is kind of the same. So let's send a scout out for NHL Atlantic. You know, we'll send a scout out to the Atlantic because we'll scout, what's his name? We'll scout Coburn. Might as well, because if he fits, then we'll get him. So Braden Coburn, here he is. So we want the complete, confirm the assignment. Who is the other one? Dallas, are they? I think they're Pacific, if I'm not mistaken. No, they're not. Who's the? I always forget. Oh, Detroit. So Detroit's in the Atlantic too. Can I actually send him another one? I guess I could. So Detroit, because we want to scout Merle. Yes, they just signed him, but like I said, they signed him on a cheap deal, and if we could give them something. So October 4th is when this will be done. Oh, okay. It kind of balances out. It doesn't. All right. So we want a Merle, and what's his name? Alexiak over Coburn anyway. So now let's just do the Alexiak, 2 players who kind of would be good. So October 4th is when it should be done. Now, when is our first game? Our first game might be on October 4th. It is. So let's just see if it'll be done on October 4th, because I simulated a day beforehand. So now we're October 4th. We're the day of our first game. So we're kind of doing this a little late. So I still have to edit the lineups because I want to see. And if one of them work on the top line, or even all pairings, because they're both very cheap, we'll trade for one of them. So Detroit. Actually, they want to get rid of John Merrill, surprisingly. So this will be a lot easier than I thought. So John Merrill. With Christopher Taves, he fits all defensive pairings and penalty kill. So he actually might be very well. And line scout on defensive pairing 1. So I think that actually might mean he might actually fit on that number 1. So Merle's looking pretty good. And he's also pretty young. Actually, he's 28, and I think Alexiak's also like 28. I don't know what I'm talking about. I think they're both in similar age. So let's come to Dallas and take a look at Alexiak. Obviously, Hintz and all them are on the trading block because they haven't signed yet. So we're not really going to cheat the system there. Alexiak's really cheap. He fits all defensive pairings and all penalty kill lines, but he's scouted on the 3rd pairing defenseman, which we don't really need him there. So I think we're going to go with John Merle. I think John Merle's the guy. I think he's the guy who possibly, if that's what that means, because I always forget with the line scout on, which I think that's what it means. I think that's where he'll fit. So that's what we're going to do. Now, John Merle is a lot cheaper than, what's his name? Than Shawmerson. So let's just see what they want. They want Hunter Skinner, Kelly Aline. So, I mean, if we give them like a prospect they can work with, Hunter Skinner's pretty young. Helene, I kind of like. We can maybe make him into something. So why not try to offer them Hunter Skinner? And possibly like a 4th or a 3rd round pick. They get a prospect and an extra pick. Obviously, they're in a little bit of a rebuild, so more picks, the better. That actually might go through. I'm actually going to try a 5th just because he's on the trading block. And draft picks, I think, are valued a lot more this year. It is rejected. So let's try to go a 4th. I would love to go a 4th instead of a 3rd. Still rejected. Let's try our 4th. Center's 4th, which of course is going to be extra. Still rejected, so I think we might have to go a 3rd rounder here. We have 2 thirds. Yeah, but I'm trying to get as much value. I'm trying to just get, so if we could get maybe a 5th, and we'll give them a 3rd. Still rejected. We'll try like a 6th or 7th, just because I'm not trying to trade too many picks at the moment. Still, you know what? We'll just go straight up, and it's accepted. So we trade defenseman prospect Hunter Skinner and a 3rd round pick in next year's draft to Detroit for John Merle, who John Merle looks like he might fit that top line. Now, is he in the system? We have to call him up. So, the moment of truth. Let's see if we kind of See if we kind of understand the whole thing with the line scouted on. So I can't really tell from this angle if John Merle is going to fit. So we're just going to put him right in. And he only gets a +1. But now I want to just see. Let me just go to the trade. That's interesting. But he might fit somewhere else. We definitely... No, I didn't want to do that. I need to go to proposed trade so I could see where he kind of fits. So now let me just see. I mean, I'm not mad. We didn't really give up too much for him. He's a good depth player, and he could probably be. But then we can maybe trade Hayek. So he fits just like Hayek. So I think in this case we were just gonna have to try to find somebody who fits the top line. But I'm not. But if we have to, I mean, we could keep. Obviously, we're gonna have to keep scouting and then keep, and make another trade. But obviously the team is not done yet, and we are kind of in our first game, and this is not really what I wanted. So we're going to have to kind of go what we have. I have to edit but this is the team so far. We'll keep Morrill in there. Let me just see. He does get a +5 there, and Trouba would be cool if he got it, but he does get a +3. What about playing with Trouba? No. So yeah. Okay, so we kind of have an idea. But John Morrill, we could also maybe try to flip him. I don't know. We could just keep him. He does fit the penalty kill, so we'll see about that. I'm going to go through the power play and the penalty kill. And next episode, I'll show you all. If you have any ideas of maybe what we should do with the roster, I'm definitely going to do a lot more scouting. By next episode, I might have some games signed, and then I'll do this. I'll have the scouting. I'll have all the players, up for scouting. We'll sim. Games will go through, and then we'll look to trade for those certain players. If you want me to move Buchnevich up and maybe build up his value for this year, we could do that, and we could keep Kreider down. He does get a +1 playing with this line. If we wanted to, maybe, like I said, we can maybe find a playmaker that fits this third line, and we can maybe put Lemieux just on the fourth line for this year. And then we could put the playmaker, and we could possibly get a +3 with Kreider on this line. So Kreider will still get a lot of playing time because Filipino really fits in. If we find a playmaker that fits it, that would be good. And that's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm thinking this with a better playmaker on this right wing. So real quick, the last thing we're going to do in this video, I actually did scout a couple playmakers. And we did have to simulate our first game. We did win 3-0. And guess who scored the first goal of the season? You guessed it, Jack Johnson. I'm not even kidding you. So the 3 playmakers we scouted, 2 of them I really wanted to scout. And one of them I just scouted because whatever. One of them was Ricardo Raquel. Now, Ricardo Raquel is not in the trading block. He's on a really cheap contract, and he was somebody I really wanted the Rangers to target. He's a left wing / center. His faceoffs are 67, which kind of sucks, but he's on a really cheap contract. Now, he fits forward line number 2. Now, he might even give forward line number 2 a +5. Maybe, because it is a sniper, playmaker, but he'll definitely give it a +3. But he plays left wing, and I'm thinking maybe if he somehow fits line number 3, we could put him on line number 3 on the right or left wing and give that line a +3 possibly. So he's someone we can maybe trade for. Now, Anaheim is a conservative buyer. But if we gave them maybe a young player and another roster player and a pick, because they are kind of rebuilding still, and they also, have Zagres coming up. They still have Henrique. They have Steele, they have Getzlaff, they have a lot of centers. So if we gave them other needs of their team for, one of their better ones, but who also plays wing, that can maybe work. Now another player I'm scouting who is very cheap in trade value, his contract on the other end but it's only for 1 year. And that is coming to the New Jersey Devils, and that is Nikita Gusev. Now Nikita Gusev is a right wing playmaker, exactly what we need. He fits forward line number 2. But we could take the chance that quite possibly he gives forward line number 3 a +3. So I think for this video, for this last part, we are going to trade for Nikita Gusev. Now, if we trade for Nikita Gusev and he doesn't really work, we're going to have to maybe trade him away. Because we're taking a chance on Nikita Gusev. We're taking another chance. Now, I think we could get him for rather cheap. I'm not going to try to trade too much for him. And John Morrill actually gives our penalty kill a +3. So I think I'm going to keep John Morrill. I'll show you the power play and penalty kill before the end of this episode. So I'm trying to look at something they would want. I'm not trying to get... If they just want this 3rd round pick, we'll be over the salary cap. They can maybe retain a little bit. Be oh so kind for... Maybe they actually will retain a little bit more. Just see if they'll retain that. Actually, they still have the value in their favor. This is the problem. Do we want to go after Gusev, or do we want to go big and go for Ricardo Raquel? Because even if Raquel doesn't really fit, he's still on a cheap contract, and he's still a damn good player. So, you know what? I think I'm going to go for Ricardo Raquel. I just think, he is a center. Obviously their centers are ridiculous. He is also a left wing. Their left wings are pretty not that great. But Ricardo Raquel, in my eyes, I think, is a player who could be expendable. Now, I'm going to give them help on the left side and Libor Hayek, and that's someone they want because their left-handed D-man, they have Lindholm, Fowler, and that's really it. They have Gooley, they have actually they do have they actually might need a little more help on the right side. But they do want Hayek, and it's also, sometimes Cam Fowler goes in the trading block. So if they look to trade Fowler, then they could slide Hayek in. And this is almost done. But I think we're going to maybe have to give up our second rounder next year. Definitely at least a third. But that might actually go through, but that's kind of cheese in my opinion. So we're going to maybe have to give up another prospect or player. So let's see what they want. None of these guys. Definitely not. Brent Lemieux, no. Buchnevich, no. Braden Schneider, I kind of want to keep. Niels Lundqvist, Matthew Robertson. Okay, so they actually want a lot of our top guys. I don't know who to give them. Do they want a goalie? I know they already have a goalie, but I will offer them Olaf Lindblom. They do want him. Might as well add. Is that a pretty good trade? Because I just feel like Anaheim in real life is rebuilding. So they get another young D-man, they get a third-round pick, and they get Olaf Lindblom, who's a goalie who could possibly be their a decent backup. Because obviously they haven't had a really good backup. They really don't. I could give them a second in next year's draft, which I think we should probably do, just to win them over a little bit more. So we're going to throw a second their way. But just because second round picks are so valued, I'm going to get a fourth our way. So we're taking a chance for Ricardo Raquel because he fits in the second line. But he could possibly give that second line a +5. But if he gives him +3, then we can maybe trade Ryan Strome. We could have probably traded Ryan Strome for him, but I want to see what he gives us. So we're going to trade Libor Hayek because he doesn't really, we already have a better defensive defenseman. Olaf Lindblom, who we already have goalies, we don't need him, and he could possibly be something for the Ducks. And they get a second round pick, and they trade a guy who obviously is on a cheap contract, but they don't need him at center. Left wing, they could use him. Do we have any left wings we could give them? I mean, Buchnevich would be fine, but I kind of want to keep Buchnevich for now. Unless we want to give them like William Cooley, but I kind of want to keep. I don't know. We want to trade them Tim Gettinger, just another left wing for them. We could do that. They don't want him, but he develops pretty well, and he could possibly be a good depth player for them. So I'm going to do this trade. I think it's pretty even. Obviously, we have the values way over on our side. I'm giving them another young D-man to go with their stacked core, another goalie, a left wing who could possibly play in their bottom 6, and then a second round pick. So we're going to do that. Like I said, it might be a questionable one in real life, but I think it's a pretty good trade. And to be honest with you, I'm actually very excited with it. Now we get Ricardo Raquel, who's 85. He's 2 more years at 3.7, and he's a player I want the Rangers to really target. So now it's time to see where he fits. Here, who am I going to put in for this? Just put in someone I really don't care. Doesn't really matter. Okay, now coming to the NHL. So now let's see how Ryan Strome, Ricardo Raquel. So he fits on the second line. He fits very well on the first line. Doesn't really fit on the... he kind of does, not really. Which kind of gets me nervous. So I'm going to actually just plug him in at right wing on the third line. Just see if he maybe gives them a +3. He doesn't. It's only a +1. If we put him at... He doesn't even... Okay, he's more fit for the top line. This didn't really go in our favor. How does he not give... I thought he fit the second line. Maybe it's just because... Oh, he does give it a +3. I'm so confused. Sometimes it does that. Ryan Strome gives us a +1. Still, I mean, I gotta say, we definitely got better. Ricardo Raquel, like I said, like, look at that. See, like, it's kind of glitched. Let me just see here. He might give it +5 somewhere. Some things in this are still a little buggy. But, I mean, he fits perfectly on that top line. But there's not really, we don't really have a sniper that would fit there. So we could play him there. And he is better than Strome by a little. You know, obviously, I think Ryan Strome, he's got the better face-offs. But Ryan Strome, he could be expendable now. So it depends. We want to play him here, which he doesn't really fit. At least this doesn't give a +3, which I was hoping for. Or do we play him with Lafreniere and Panarin? I think we'll do that. And we'll play Ryan Strome because he's on a 2-year deal and we want to keep him happy. So I think that's going to do that. So do we want to plug him in anywhere on the power play? Let me just see if he possibly gives power play a little bit better of a boost. If not, then we'll just keep Ryan Strome. He actually fits the power play very well. Who's somebody we can maybe take out or put in? We'll put him on the power play. Screw, forget it. Okay, so we make a huge trade. We get Ricardo Raquel, and I think we're gonna. Oh, let me show you the lines. So I think this is gonna be our team. You know, we kind of have. I still need to figure out I still have to find a perfect playmaker. There's really not. I'm not really liking this, and Raquel didn't really fit. But we did get a lot better. Now, defensively, I'm going to go with this. Merle, I'm going to keep him because, one, our power play, this is our power play, +3s on both. Very good. We do have Brendan Lemieux on that because he gave it a +3. The first power play is just stacked, 4-man. You can see penalty kill, +3. And we have we do have a plus, we do have Raquel now here. Well, we'll keep him there. And then 3-man power play 0-0, which is good because I usually have, like, -2s and all that. So, I think let's just simulate this game against Buffalo. It's a 2-0 loss. Simulate against Carolina. 6-5 shootout loss. And we are going to end on that. Actually, let's try to get one more dub for the boys. Let's see if we can get 2 more here. 1. Wow, we get shut out again. 2-2. Maybe this trade wasn't really worth it. 2. Oh, all right. We got to end on a W. We got to end on a W. I'm not going to end like that. I need to end on a W. That's how I do it. Wow, Julius Honka's on waivers. I'm going to decline. We don't need him. 5-3. Let's just see if we get back-to-back. Ugh, come on. All right, I got to end on a W. I'm sorry. Keep going, keep it going, keep it going. Oh, and I still have Kendrick Miller scratch. I still got to put him in. Whoops. Jack Johnson. Wow, Dallas wants him back. Pittsburgh wants him back. We got to end on a W. Panarin with 10 points. There we go. End on a W. That's going to do it. We are 4-4. Hopefully we turn it around. Maybe I'll look to move Ryan Strome back. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll put Ryan Strome back because maybe that face-offs is making a big deal. But Ricardo Raquel, of course, is a great depth player. So, hope... Oh, actually, let me switch Brendan Lemieux and Julian Gauthier. I don't want them. I want them on their preferred spots. Maybe even Lemieux. Does he fit better? He kind of does. I'm just trying to see maybe... No. Okay. So, that is going to do it. You know what? Do you just want to... You know what? Let's just simulate October. Why not? Let's just do it. We'll simulate up until this Montreal game. We'll simulate the rest of October. So hopefully we could get on a win streak here or something. 5-5. You know, our division is always close. So I'm hoping we could. Chris Kreider. I got to take him off the... So, we are kind of struggling early on, but early struggles I've seen and then have turned into good struggles. So, I'm going to end it there, 7-6-1. Tony DeAngelo with 18 points in 14 games. Wow. Might as well take a look at the the, what's it called, points real quick. Ricardo Raquel with 15 points. How many games did he play with us? Okay, Ricardo Raquel's playing really well with us. I just bumped him down a line, but I think that, what was his power play? He's got 6 power play points, but he's still got a lot of even strength. Panarin's point per game, Kako's playing well. 10 assists for Lafreniere, still doesn't have that number 1, that goal yet, but that's nice to see. A lot of these guys are scoring early. Adam Fox struggling a little bit. Hopefully he could get going. Chris Kreider, hopefully he could get going. But Tony DeAngelo, man, I'm liking this, but at the same time I'm not, because his next contract might be big. Actually, real quick, I want to see if Igor Shesterkin wants to resign, because I want to see if I could get him at the contract I want him at. So, let me go over to goalies, because if he still wants 1 year, okay, so now he wants 3 years. We could probably go 4 by that. 5 we probably won't. Do we want to try to go 4 by 6.5? It's not a bad contract. I like that. You know what? We're gonna offer that to him, and we'll simulate until see if he accepts, and then we'll call it an episode. Sorry, keep doing one thing after another. Game against the Canes, Montreal. We beat them. That's good. Yeah, I gotta edit my trading block. I don't know why I have Jack Johnson. I don't think I have Jack Johnson up there. I guess he is. I'm getting a lot of trades for him. Another win right there. And Igor Shesterkin. So we get Shesterkin at a good contract. I think we got him at 4 years for 6.5, which I think is kind of a similar what he'll get. I think I'm kind of predicting like a 5. Oh my God, Ricardo Raquel is killing it. So let's just end it there. We're hot. We actually won a lot. We've won a lot in a row, and our division, of course, is very close. You lose one game, a team. So Ricardo Raquel, new acquisition, he is killing it. So hope you guys enjoyed. Finally gonna end this episode. A lot of stuff. We made some trades. Obviously got the team. Edited the team. We just signed our franchise goalie long term, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. We'll probably just continue simming and maybe get to the trade deadline. So I'll see you guys.